Hello everyone, we are Syndicate 8, BLEMBA 28 of SBM-ITB. Welcome to our scenario planning in oil and gas industry. We will discuss and research the oil and gas industry with Baker Hughes as the industry representative. This is our team member. We have Dita, Mayta, Aldy, Indra, Jifeng, Sugeng, and Oktario. Before we officially start, we want to perform disclaimer first. The materials provided in this report are educational purpose only, and nothing conveyed or provided should be considered legal, accounting, or tax advice. Any similarities in names or events are either the products of author's imagination or used in fictitious manner. The contents of this video shall not be made as a reference for any commercial activities. This is the table of contents we are discussing today. So, let's start with the company overview in the first part under Jifeng's explanation. First, let's take a look at two introduction videos by Baker Hughes.
Today was just another day. The sun came up. The house warmed up. A day of getting ready, getting in the car, getting where you're going. A day where energy-powered progress, connections, and fun. Today was just another day where everything worked and nobody had to worry because of the work we do. At Baker Hughes, our digital solutions business brings peace of mind to the world's infrastructure. We create intelligent, connected technologies to sense so we can help lower emissions safely and keep everything running smoothly. Monitor so your home is cozy while your world is protected. Control so you have the power to live with confidence. And inspect so your family and community stay safe. Across industries and around the globe. Today and every day. That's how we move energy forward.
Baker Hughes. Baker Hughes is an energy technology company. Baker Hughes takes energy forward, making it safer, cleaner, and more efficient for people and the planet. Serving more than 120 countries operation in the world. With total 55,000 employees and revenue $20.7 billion in 2020. The capabilities of Baker Hughes include hydrogen technologies, LNG solutions, energy transactions, emissions management, carbon capture use and storage, subsea connect, industrial technology, geothermal solutions, remote operations, and AI. Baker Hughes believes the world's reliance in hydrocarbon will not disappear, and oil and gas will continue to play a necessary role in meeting global energy demand. At the same time, the transition to new energy source is accelerating. The following discussion will be led by my colleague.
From the explanation from my friend Jeff, we can see 2020 was an incredibly challenging year for Baker Hughes. To transforming our business, we moved quickly to mitigate the impact of these events through a series of financial, operational, safety actions guided by this business model. The initiation of business model from the needs in society, as we know, demand of energy mix recently has increased. As the world's focus on climate change accelerated in 2020, so too did our focus on building a unique energy technology company. And then in line with our strategy that transforming the core, we integrated exploration and production platform service with implementation of machine learning and artificial intelligence. Through the digital enablement and automation, we see the possibility for lower costs and reduce the risk. The advancement of digital technology and AI are seamless connection of people, process, technology, data within the operation, ML and AI to predict the subsurface or drilling data as the distinction competencies. And the other competencies are competitive price and flexible service fit for basin. The other way, competitive advantage are we integrated service company with one-stop shopping and be the one of the largest energy service companies and real-time remote operation. And then how do we sustain our values creation or results? We can do faster turnaround time, improve profitability and cost efficiency from reduced energy costs, increase operational effectiveness and resilience performance, also reduce the cost, and then flexible working hours also reduce the energy cost. And the other ways to growth, we can do investment in ML, AI, or cloud-based technology, and partnership with energy players. The next step is gain or resource from the integrated global expertise, global equipment portfolio, and etc. That's all the integration from number 3 until 7 that can be looped in the process to sustain and grow the company. And then as my explanation before, the impact of COVID-19 to the oil and gas industry are that inefficient and highly leveraged companies may face liquidity crisis, with some being forced out of business. Some of the larger, healthier companies may alter or accelerate their plans to diversify into energy sectors, prompting a change in the business model. As we can see in the diagram, the evolving energy mix will continue to grow and displacing coal. The other are in the wake of layoffs and furloughs. Companies may face a shortage of skilled labor when the market rebounds. How is oil and gas demand trend is explained by this graph. The negative market growth and through competition in the oil and gas production is the future of the business, in addition to the global requirement on net zero emission by 2050. The oil and gas organization need to consider key undertaking conditions, priorities, and imperatives for decision making. Consequently, the predictive analytics and machine learning model selects an ideal situation for the current pandemic situation. ANI reported that more than 92% of oil and gas companies are either currently investing in AI or plan to in the next 2 years. Digitalization is the key empowering influence for operational excellence. 75% of the oil and gas companies they survive are already implementing robotic process automation, and 87% are using advanced analytics. 70% said they plan to implement industrial Internet of Things in the next 18 months. An environment where the sensor can function freely and interact with Every other element is known as IoT. Industrial IoT can bridge the gap between operation-related and data technology. This allows machine-generated voluminous and unstructured data to analyze insights that drive improvement in design and execution, leading to smarter, faster decisions and end-to-end communication.
Thank you, Mbak Mayta. Now we move to scenario planning development phase. In this part, there are three stages that we highlight. The first one is orientation stage. In orientation stage, we define the user's background research, interview, to define the scope and key focal issue. Understand the business idea, identify who are the participants to the processes. Who are the users? The user itself are oil and gas companies, renewable energy companies, EPC companies, cloud service. And what are the key focal issues? Key focal issues are, the first one is without major acceleration, the industry will not meet the Paris Agreement goal. There is no scenario where hydrocarbon disappear, so efficiency matters. There is no path to net zero without partnership and collaboration. The scope of issue is oil and gas industry, and with the time horizon from 2021 to 2030. Exploration stage. In this part, we identify the driving force and critical uncertainties surrounding the users. Additional research on its driving force, but before we are going further, we are focused on PASTEL first. A PASTEL analysis, or more recently named PASTEL, is a framework or tool used by marketers to analyze and monitor the macro environmental factors that have an impact on organization. The results on which is used to identify the threats and weaknesses which are used in SWOT analysis. There are 6 factors here: political, economy, social, technology, environment, and legal. Political factors are often have an impact on organization on how they do the businesses. Organizations need to be able to respond to the current and anticipate the future legislation and adjust their marketing policy accordingly. Economic factors have an impact on how an organization does business and also how profitable they are. Social factors are particular interests as they have a direct effect on how marketers understand customers and what drives them. Technology factors. We all know how fast the technology landscape changes and how this impacts the way we market our product. Legal factor. Is it clear that companies need to know what is and what is not legal in order to trade successfully? If an organization trades globally, this becomes a very tricky area to get right, as each country has its own set of rules and regulations. Now we move to identifying the driving force. There are 3 parts on this section. From contextual environment, we divide the things that we cannot control, and those are green energy awareness worldwide, government regulation, global pandemic, political, economic policy in each country, availability of renewable energies. Then we also divide the things that which are still uncertain, things which will affect greatly user transaction environment, and we define the things which drive a tremendous change in user businesses.
Thank you, Indra, for the explanation on the orientations and exploration stage. Now we're talking about the critical uncertainties. The way we allocate the position for the factors on the uncertainty and impact really based on the current situations and how we foresee this situation on the futures. For instance, like item number 12, energy transitions investment gap. For now, we put with the low uncertainty with the low impact due to some companies still have some issues in the investment decisions to support the renewable energy. While in the other hand, we put 15 and 17, which is machine learning and AI, as well as the climate changes in the highest positions, high impact and high uncertainty, because currently most of the oil companies as well as the oil field service company maximizing their resources, their investment toward these directions. So from these 2 points, then we can discuss further about how the business running for the futures. Next, we're talking about the causal loop diagram. The trigger for this causal loop diagram mainly from the oil and gas demand, which is based on the Paris UB21. Basically, the demand for the oil and gas decline. That lead to the oil company production also low, and automatically the support from the oil field service company getting low. So by having these consequences, by lowering the opportunity on the OFS company, it will lead to the lowering the employment rate, which is lower employment rate mean lowering also the economic growth, social welfare, and also the access to the human's health system. However, with the current plan from the oilfield service company as well as the oil company, which is maximizing their effort on the machine learning and also artificial intelligence, on the long run, it will maximizing the efficiency of the company, then will be later on increasing the employment rate, supporting economic growth. So in the long futures, with this kind of a strategy, it can provide the best economics growth while without jeopardizing the environment.
Thank you, Pak Sugeng. So after we determine the critical uncertainty and driving forces, the next stage is the scenario creation stage. At this stage, our syndicate designed 4 possible scenarios for Baker Hughes to face the future in the oil and gas industry. Our first scenario is called UGWE. This scenario illustrates the condition when renewable energy has been increasingly implemented. Companies in oil and gas have switched to renewable energy and have implemented full digital technology in their operations, such as machine learning and artificial intelligence. In this scenario, the energy transition is in line with the target of the Paris Agreement or COP21. There are tax incentives from the government for the implementation of renewable energy. Companies have maximized the implementation of machine learning and AI, as well maximizing workforce transformation from engineers in petroleum to AI experts. The second scenario is called Master Shifu. This scenario describes the condition that companies in the oil and gas industry have not switched to renewable energy, but have implemented digital technology in its operations. This scenario marked by operations in oil and gas that have fully utilized the implementation of machine learning and AI, also massive exploration activities by oil and gas companies. There are no tax incentives on renewable energy and growing demand for oil and gas globally. For the third scenario, we call it POW. This scenario describes the condition when the demand for renewable energy is high. Oil and gas companies switch to renewable energy, but they have not implemented digital technology. In this scenario, it is marked by conditions where the government suppress oil and gas exploration and production. They encourage to comply with the Paris Agreement. There is no significant technological development, so the current technology utilized to support the renewable energy production, and there is no massive investment in digital transformation. The last scenario is the fourth scenario we named Tigris. This scenario describes the condition if the oil and gas company has not switched to renewable energy and has not implemented digital technology, which means that the company is still operating as it is. The Tigris scenario, marked by a lack of investment in machine learning and AI by oil companies and oil field service. Exploration and production activities still use the current technology, an increase in demand for oil and gas, and more investment in oil and gas projects.
Okay, thank you, Mas Okta. Now I'm going to explain the consequences and option states. Previously, we already had 4 scenarios, and now we will apply all scenarios to the business idea. However, to determine business action option for each scenario, we must be able to see the consequences through what are the key driving factors. Then identify the early warning signals and dominant operation modes of each scenario. First, we will start discussing from the aqueous scenario, which leads to the use of renewable energy with full digital implementation. The key driving factors are: the first one, seeing the increasingly environmental issues law in many countries lead to the use of renewable energy. The second one, Baker Hughes has also transitioned into an energy company, so AI infrastructures will continue to be developed. And then we have identified early warning signals such as main energy source are renewables will increase by 85%, mobility demand will increase by 30%, oil and gas demand is 50% of total energy availability, and digital adoption will increase by 55%, and business diversification by 40%, workforce transformation by 60%. Then the dominant operation mode is implementation on energy transition policy. So the consequences are efficient and effective energy generation by the energy company. And the second one is less control on the operation and production due to the AI implementation. Therefore, Baker Hughes can have options that maximize the AI to. And then we will explain for the last scenario, namely the Tigris scenario. This is scenario insight that Baker Hughes will face in the short term. The key driving force for this scenario is that the demand for oil and gas is still high, and Baker Hughes has prepared the company's strategic plan well. Next, we have identified some early warning signals such as mobility demand will decrease by 10%, oil and gas demand is 50% of total energy availability, digital adoption will increase by 70%, diversify business by 50%. Then for dominant operations mode is cost optimization on the production process. But the consequences remain. It's fear that the climate issues will be materialized, and oil and gas operations are becoming increasingly inefficient. Therefore, Baker Hughes already has option to acquire to technology company to support the digital transformation process. So, okay, this is an explanation of the consequences and option of our 4 scenarios. For the last stage will be explained by.
Thank you, Mas Aldy, for the explanation on consequences and options. Now we will move to the integration stage, where in this stage we divide it into several time frames. The integrations of the scenarios is specified by 2 elements, which are investment on digital transformations and shifting the business to renewable energy. The applications of scenarios will be driven by the company management strategy decisions. So, let's look on the first arrow. In 2021, the company that developed investment plan on digital transformations and conduct feasibility study on renewable energy portfolio could have 2 scenarios visible upfront, for short to medium term, either as aqueous scenario or master Sifu scenario. In aqueous scenario, in the next 2 years, the company will be able to develop artificial intelligence center and unlock the option for JV, acquisitions, or develop new business line. Then moving onward to 2026, the company will be able to establish both of those plans. In Master Sifu scenario, the company able to develop artificial intelligence center, but they will look the progress on the global energy transition program to see whether the JV is economical to look forward or not. Back to the management direction, let's look on the second row. In 2021, the company developed alternative scenario on digital transformation proposal and reassess the materializations of renewable energy trend. Here, to scenario upfront or PO and TCRES. In PO scenario, the company running with their current digital capabilities and unlock the possibility of the option for JV, acquisition, new business line, where the company could develop further with partnership in 2026. In TCRES scenario, those options are not existing. Hence, the company will running the business as usual. That's all the presentation from Syndicate 8. Thank you for your attention.